Hello, this is Lisa Rose here on Connect to Love on PRN-FM, and I'm joined by the incredible Michael J. Russ. I want to welcome you, Michael, and also by Carol Collins for our monthly Awakening series. It is such a delight, Carol, to have you and the teachers back. They finished the last episode on positivity and are just waiting to hear what the teachers have to say. So I want to welcome you as well, you and the teachers, and it's just such a delight. You returned from your trip from Italy and are back in the United States and doing all kinds of wonderful things. So I want to just say welcome.
So much, Eddie, and I'm so excited for this series. Is fun. And the feedback from everybody is really, really fun. And it's just, I do interviews here and there with different podcasters, but this is the only one where I come back on a regular basis. And so that's the most fun because there is a following and there are people that are starting to, really look forward to, hey, when are the teachers going to be speaking again? And they're starting to put it on the calendar. And I know that because they're starting to tell me. And so that's really exciting. And so I'm here. There's 5 teachers in the room, 5 non-physical teachers in the room with me. Michael's guide, Jeremiah, is one of them. And Lisa, you've got 3 teachers around you. They're still circulating energy around you and keeping everything good all the way through the middle of January. It's just you have a lot of things going on. You've got a lot of plates in the air, and so you've got 3 teachers around you all the time. And so it's just a nice thing to know that there's a cleanup crew.
No, that's wonderful. That's great.
They don't do this always, though.
Yeah, nice to have a cleanup crew. My own personal Zamboni cleaning up the ice.
Yeah, your life, personal Zamboni. Yes, that's right.
But they do clean up the aggravation from having the dishes, there to do. But anyway, yeah, it's emotional cleanup crew.
Oh, no, thank you. And, it's so interesting. I last night, I always tend to, when I'm doing different things, I'll have a television on, and there was laughing, and there was a juggler that they had on, and he was going to juggle all of these plates, and they turned out, his specialty was to juggle them in the dark, and they turned out the lights, and he heard this huge crash, and he's laying on the floor, and all these broken plates. So it's so apropos to what
isn't that fun?
It is.
They told me to say that. They told me to use the cleaning the dishes and about that you have a lot of plates in the air. And that's funny.
Isn't that funny? No, I did not share that with you. No, at all. And, and that's what's so fun about knowing that you have non-physical guides that come in and they're tuning into what you're doing and what you're watching and guiding you. And I'm not a television watcher, so most of the time I'll have it on for the animals to keep them company when I'm not there. And I'll do whatever I'm doing. But last night I ended up watching a Hallmark channel movie called Remembering Sunday. And I don't normally have time to sit down and watch a movie, but this particular movie was so sweet. And it was about a young man named Gus who was an astrophysicist who had a brain aneurysm. And what I found so fascinating about the movie was that he lost his short-term memory. So every day was a brand new day. His life would start anew. He had this love interest, and every day there was something about her that he would remembered. And he made a statement that how could it be that he fell in love with her every day? He recognized in her there was something special, and he saw that, and he felt that connection to love. And he couldn't explain it, but every day when he saw her anew, he felt this feeling that really touched his heart, and he recognized her, and he felt so connected. And he would write little Post-it notes and stick them around, and he would record, so he would remember, even though when he would wake up, he wouldn't remember, but it was like, remember this, remember this, remember this. And I thought to myself, here, Carol Collins and the teachers are coming on to the show tomorrow, and this is exactly what it's all about. We come into this lifetime and we don't remember. And it is about awakening. It is about those little gentle nudges, those Post-it notes, those plates in the air, all of those little things that nudge us. Remember, remember, remember. This is here for you. We're here for you. And that's what that movie was really, it inspired me, because I thought, here it is. It's about awakening. And why don't we remember what it is that we came here to do in this world? And I don't know, it's a big conversation, especially since the topic of awakening is so on the forefront of what the teachers are bringing forth. And I'd love to hear the teachers, or Michael, and if you want to chime in, and maybe why that movie came across my playlist last night.
You're going to ask me that question? I think you know the answer. Historical,
you've
right?
Been, I know.
We're guided to a lot of things. Carol, you want to take a stab at it?
Jeremiah, speak. I like to have this conversation. So Carol's sitting here in her hotel suite. We are doing some work, but also some healing things on her root chakra. And so why did that come across? Well, that's law of attraction. Now, is it positive law of attraction or is it negative law of attraction? Well, for you, it's a little bit of both, Lisa, but it's mostly positive. And so the idea of a brain aneurysm, well, that's not positive. But what you took away from that Hallmark movie was positivity. But if you take away your emotions, so let's just eliminate the emotions, and let's just look at the content. The content is, I have a brain aneurysm. I have to take notes in order to remember things. I have to recalibrate every day because I'm not normal. I have to, and the people around me have to go to extraordinary lengths to help me. I am not a fully functioning adult. I am in love, and I am not able to tend and care for like a husband should, like a person should, and that could be any gender. And so if you take the subject matter of that Hallmark movie, then the subject matter is unhealthy for the human subconscious mind. Because being aware of those things, so you yourself, now you have awareness of brain aneurysm. And that's okay, because most people do. But some people don't. Some people don't. And so a Hallmark movie about the holidays could and does introduce the fragile, unconscious mind of a human being to the fact that there is a brain aneurysm that it could manifest. Now, it doesn't do that overnight. It's an accumulation of negativity that does that. But here's the other thing. Now, the Hallmark channel, it's mostly wholesome-ish. It's got a good message, but the content isn't always healthy. The content is not healthy, but the message is. But you know, you get that Groundhog Day, and you've got the other movie. Now, Carol can't remember the movie's name, so we are going to say the actress's name, but we will say this. We mean no harm to anyone. We love all people, and we love all beings, and we love all people everywhere from any moment and any moment and any moment of time and of space and of reality of this world and any other world. And so we're going to say the name Drew Barrymore, but we don't mean any harm to her. We are simply using that name because Carol's mind is not recalling the name of the movie. And so Drew Barrymore was also in a movie where she had short-term memory problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
50 First Dates.
50 First Dates.
The thing is, she acquired significant acclaim, and the Hallmark actors did not. Why? Well, that's law of attraction. Mm-hmm. But it's the same flavor. It's the same flavor. And so why do we start with that here? Well, because here we have holidays are upon us. And so you have, and this is the topic of the day, and we love you so much, Lisa, is that you are sometimes guided so easily. And so when you decided to watch that movie, that's when the four of us decided that we would use that as part of this conversation, because it's very poignant for the weeks ahead of us, the weeks ahead of you, but also the weeks ahead of us as guides and teachers, because we have to guide you through it. And so here you have a Hallmark movie content, unhappy, but the message, the underlying message, there is some happy there. And so you have the holidays coming, and you've got a significant amount of people who are painting on a happy face, but they're really, really, really sad, uncomfortable on the inside. They're missing loved ones who have passed, or loved ones that have exited their life, or they're geographically distant from their usual social network or family network. And so people are trying to be very happy and joyful. And so you have a significant, and we don't mean a small 2% of the population, we mean a significant percentage of the population that are missing their loved ones and their pets and everybody that and their routines. And don't forget traditions. When you become an adult and your children are no longer doing your traditions and they're doing their own because now they're adults, well, the dynamics of life change, and that increases grieving, PTSD. Not to say that it isn't PTSD, because in some people it is, and it's just sad that grows and grows and grows. Now, right alongside that is joy of gifts and the shopping and the gift giving and the wrapping and the bows and the cooking and the smells and the music, and there is joy right alongside it. And so just like the movie that you watched, there is negative right alongside positive. So what do you focus on? What do you focus on? Well, we want people to focus on positive thought, positive imagery, positive emotions. And so we are here at this place, and we'll name it. It's Omni's, the Homestead Resort in Hot Springs, Virginia. We're here, and we're here because Carol's here. And because she's here, we are pulling healing frequency from this place through the phone lines into this recording. And we do that because it's available. This is a beautiful place, aesthetically, but it is also a healing place because there has been centuries worth of people talking about the homestead is a healing place. It's a healing place. No, it's not the only one. There's healing places like this all over the globe. Any sanctuary where people have depth of thought, depth of memory, consistent reflection that this is a healing place, a healing place, a healing place, a healing place. It could be a homeless shelter, but a homeless shelter houses homeless. That's not a healing place.
Yeah.
And so But a healing place is like a sanctuary. This has been a sanctuary for the infirm. Now, it's a beautiful resort.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was a sanctuary for the infirm. And so it's become positive thought pollution has thickened here. So what we mean by that is thoughts have thickened here. There's a quantity of thought here that is so dense that it's healthy to be here. And so we are. Because the holidays for Carol are not happy. They're not happy. They're lonely, children that are grown and dispersed and parents that have moved into this place that we're speaking from. And so her holidays on the inside are not happy. And so we're prepping her for the holidays by spending a few days here. And it's a good thing to do. So positive and negative, side by side, that's the way of it. And that's the way we describe it. Yeshua to speak. So when we say Yeshua to speak, that means that's the group of us, and there's 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So positive and negative, positive and negative. All of you have positive thought and negative thought. And what those thoughts do, think of it like one of those little containers with soap, and you got the little wand, and you dip the wand into the soap, and then you blow. Now you've got soap bubbles in the air. Think of soap bubbles being thought bubbles. And every thought has a subject plus one or more emotions inside the bubble. And picture someone dipping the wand and blowing it nonstop every second of every day. Now just picture being in your office or in your living room and someone nonstop blowing bubbles, and those bubbles are magic bubbles. They never burst. They never burst. They just keep filling up the room, filling up the room, filling up the room, filling up the room, filling up the room. Probably a month, your whole room would be filled with bubbles. It would be like walking through a bubble factory. Now think about a year or 10 years or a century or 2 centuries. So when you're in this building and you're inside the building, not on the ground, but inside the building, thought has accumulated here to that degree where you are literally walking through thought bubbles, and most of them are, this is a healing place. And so it is, and so it has become. So everybody should have a healing place in their home. We say, let it be anything that is aesthetically pleasing but accessible. So don't make it a closet, nor the bathroom, nor the kitchen, because there's sights and sounds and talking. Let it be a private little nook and a quiet little moment. But that little nook accumulates your own personal thought bubbles. So when you have a happy moment, go sit in that little nook. When you want to create something, let that nook be not your creative place. Let it be your positivity place, where you do your affirmations, where you do your positive reading, where you do your positive listening, where you listen to podcasts like this one, where you have your mindfulness kind of things, but also, I love my life, I love my life, I love my life. And so we had Unfolding class last night, and all the listeners know, Unfolding's Monday, and our self-healing is on Tuesdays. And so when we had the Unfoldment on Monday, we talked about how do you talk to yourself. So we're going to ask the both of you, fill in the blank. Michael, what does joy feel like?
Warmth, a vibration of warmth throughout me. It's almost indescribable. I feel light. I feel this energy emanating from my heart. It
All right,
I've had a lot of that feeling.
So let's stop you there. So what could you manifest with, and we're going to repeat this back to you, warmth and a vibration. That means that you could begin having hot flashes or heating up and cooling down, vibrations throughout your body. You could get the tingly sensations that don't feel good, or you could get some lower extremities and lack of circulation. Now, we're talking about saying this over a length of time here, not just one time. But also, light that's emanating from your heart. Well, your heart is on the inside of your body, so there is no light that is literally escaping the heart and moving outside the body. And so those are really colorful, creative, beautiful. It's like a rainbow effect of beautiful description. So hold that thought. We love it, but hold that thought. So, Lisa, we're going to ask you the same thing. What does joy feel like to you?
To me, it's lightness and airiness and being in rays of sunshine. That's what joy feels like to me. That if I'm just basking in the sun, it makes my heart sing. Things that make my heart sing is joy to me.
Okay, so now we're just gonna piece it together a little bit. So it makes me feel light and airy. All right. Now over time, that could cause you to have headaches, dizziness, vertigo, or be lightheaded. Those words manifest. The words made flesh mean the words that you use will manifest to your physical body and your physical life experience. So those not so good. But it makes it even better when it's more like a metaphor. What does joy feel like to me? It feels like sunshine. So let's just dive into that a little bit more. So for Carol, it feels like Saturday morning, waking up all by myself with just the sound of the birds, that moment of pure bliss. It feels like the best conversation ever. It feels like lip gloss. Now there's one, okay, because it's all unique to every individual. Now she'll put on a little bit of lipstick and then she'll put a little lip gloss. So to her, joy feels like when I look in the mirror, right after I have that fresh layer of lip gloss, that's joy. That means she likes it. And so what does joy feel like? And that's what we did in class the other night. What does joy feel like? What does joy feel like? What does joy feel like? And we went around the room. And so it feels like sunshine. It feels like happy. It feels like crisp autumn afternoon when the breeze is soft and the sun is warm. and I have the right amount of time to enjoy it. See how we expanded it? Because it could be sunshine, but if you're driving in your car and you're headed in the wrong direction, that sunshine is not pleasing. And so the rounded description, what does happy feel like? Well, happy feels like sitting on the floor petting my dogs. And everybody's fed and happy, satiated, and everybody's just enjoying a moment in time together. That's happy. That's happy. Because why? Because you could say joy feels like warmth, or joy feels like fun, but those are just more words. And those words don't conjure emotion. Those words are emotional words, but they don't conjure emotion. And so the exercise that we did the other night and that we just did with you, it's when you can identify a handful of scenarios, then you conjure the emotion. Because if you say, well, it feels like sunshine, it feels like when I'm sitting on the floor just petting my dogs right after everybody's been fed and everybody's happy and healthy and just relaxing. We're all together and we all feel good. And it just feels nice to have a moment in time where I'm not rushed or pressed to do anything. I'm just here in the presence of my dogs, and it feels good. Now that's a well-rounded, but it also conjures the feeling, because you can start to see an image of where that event, that situation has occurred for you. And so then the emotion in the subconscious mind begins to sprout. And that's what we want people to do over these holidays. If you start feeling blue, you start feeling anxious, number one, do get yourself on the internet and book an appointment, because the holidays are holidays. But to somebody like Carol, who loves to help people, she considered, and we say this, she considered not having appointments that day. And she began to look at her calendar and thought about taking that day off. And then she said, well, but there might be some people that need to have a conversation. And so, but that's when she paused and she looked up and to the right and she asked us. And we said, well, let's just do half a day, because there could be some people that are having a hard time. So the phone lines will be open. Book your appointment if you feel you need one. And if you go through the holidays and you get online and there is no appointment available on that day, then you get yourself in the email application and you send her an email, or you get on the website and you see her phone number and you text her and you ask her if she can please fit you in, and she'll send you a PayPal request and she'll fit you in, because we're here for you and she's here for you. And so we offer that to all of you from December 20th to January 2nd, because there's a lot of emotions that are in the air and a lot of emotions that are rising and falling through these holidays. There's a lot of people that are missing loved ones. And so don't suffer when you don't have to. We're available and we love you so much. All right, we're going to turn it back over to the two of you.
No, that's really beautiful, and thank you. And I just want to mention, if you are interested in booking, please go to americas-medium.com, and you'll find a little bit more about what Carol does and some of the events that are coming up. And, one of the things that touched me about that movie that I was referring to in the beginning of the show was about our connection to love, and that's what the name of this show is about. And I think about, and especially during the holidays, there are the guides that are here to support us, which is so heartwarming and just reassuring, because it can be very difficult. And in the movie, I thought to myself about all of the moments that get stored, and if you had that ability, you didn't remember the hurt, you didn't remember some of the other things, but you just, when you saw somebody, you saw that light in their eyes and you felt that love and that connection. And so I guess part of what my question is, for those of us who do have challenges where we feel a little bit disconnected, are there practices of tuning in or finding a space? Like as you said, you find a space in your home that's nurturing to you. Are there other practices to sort of reconnect to that love and the greater connection?
Talking out loud. So This is Carol's Guide James to speak. Mediums are created, and so anyone that is not a silent meditator by way of daily practice, silent, and we mean 12 minutes or less every single day. If you have not meditated in silence, not conversating, not trying to conversate, not assuming conversation, but silence, training the mind to be silent for 12 minutes or less every single day as a life practice, then mediumship is not yours. And we don't say that to be mean, but mediumship is learned in silent meditation, very small increments of silent meditation. And so we don't want people to sit in a favorite little chair and then begin to contemplate life. So we say, if you have a special little area and you can accumulate positive thought, then later it can become a creative space. And when you sit there, positivity will be surrounding you, literally. Your thought bubbles in the air will be positive thought, and it will enhance creativity. But how does someone who is suffering mildly or suffering greatly, how do they step out of that? You have to talk out loud. The act of talking out loud causes the subconscious mind to deflect negative emotion and focus on talking. It's like, can you digest and speak at the same time? Yes, you can. Can you pat your head and rub your abdomen at the same time? Well, maybe you can, but probably not very easily. And so it's the same thing. When a person is feeling down, they think too much and they sit too much. So we say, number one, get on your feet. Number two, start moving those feet and walk. And if you can walk outdoors for a little while, that's even better. So stand up and walk and then talk out loud. Those things automatically cause the subconscious mind to shift away from emotional thinking and into the activity of speaking. And it's not complicated, and it's not hard, and it does work. And so if you need to call this person and this person and this person and this person in succession until you feel like you've got a hold of your emotions, well, that's okay. So make a list now. Make a list now before those overwhelming and anxiety-riddled emotions take over. Make a list now. I'll call this person and put their phone number next to the name and make it easy on yourself. Prepare yourself. And then sign your name on the bottom and then put a heart or a smile face or a flower or something that reminds you that you wrote that note to yourself when you were feeling good, because clarity comes when you're happy. And so make the list, use the list, carry the list, and promote the list and let other people know. Talking out loud causes the subconscious mind to shield itself from negative emotion. Now, try to keep the conversation as positive as possible, but no matter what, the emotion shifts to the side as the human body is speaking. It's just the way of it.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I love walking. I think very positive things when I'm walking. And if I had to go back and describe what joy was to me, two things came to mind when you were talking. I love sunrises. I love sunsets. Wherever I am in the world, I just love watching them. They make me feel joyful. And playing music on my drums makes me feel joyful.
Let's pause you right there, Michael, and let's help you to elongate that a little bit. So let's start with the sunrise. I like sunrises. I like them a lot, and I like sunsets too. Now that's good, but do you see that the emotion? You're not just sinking into the emotion. So try it a little bit like this. What does joy feel like to me? Oh, it feels like sunrise on a.
I'm going to tell you what my problem is. Not to interrupt you, but I'm going to tell you what my issue is. It's actually I can sit and I know that when I call Lisa and I describe the sunset, I am describing the sunset, the colors as they change and arrive and evolve, and the sun comes up and the striations of the beautiful light across the sky and the clouds and how they react with the light that's coming off the sun, and it's just such a pivotal moment. That is really what I'm saying. Of course, okay. On the radio.
But now say that again. But say it again and say it with emotion. Oh, it's the sun. But you try it. Do it right now so your listeners can hear you.
All right. So when I'm standing at the back door and I'm looking at a beautiful sunrise, what I see and what makes me feel awesome is how the sun begins to just come up. I've got trees, the layered trees, and I can just see the striation of beautiful color, oranges and reds and purples that start to rise up and they peak, to begin to peak up just a little bit, and when it gets higher, you could see how the sun just makes the clouds that are around it, that whatever formation they may be, cirrus clouds, whatever. Sometimes it's like that light and the clouds just paint the sky in such a way that.
So now, Michael, hang on right there. We love you so much.
Okay.
So now slow the words down. That's how you sink into the emotion. That's how you conjure it. So just having a scenario is good, and describing it is better. How do you get from good to better to best? You slow it down. You got to savor it. It's like, well, I opened the back door. Now, I opened the back door. Well, what does joy mean to me? Well, I opened the back door first thing in the morning. Dew's still on the ground. I look up in the sky, and just over the crest of the trees, the striations start to peak, and the colors start to show themselves one by one. It's glorious. That's what joy is to me. Do you see how you slow it down?
Of course,
and then you
slow it down.
Now that, so there's the identifying the scenario is identifying the scenario. And then describing the scenario is describing the scenario. But then conjuring joy by immersing yourself in the memory. That's how you take joy and you bring it into now. And that's the point of this. So there's the scenario, there's describing it, and then there's using a scenario to take joy from the past. And when you savor and really slow it down, and you just breathe joy, and you think joy, and you express joy, and it comes out in this. There's more joy and more thought and more breathing than there are words. And it just comes out, and it's so convincing to everybody that hears you, but also convincing to you because it takes joy from the past and it brings it all the way front and center. And when it is front and center, then the subconscious mind has to look at it. Has to. And that's how you shift away from depression in the moment, anxiety in the moment, is slow and savor descriptions of something that is so pleasing to you that it's your go-to.
That's so beautiful. And I just want to mention, because was about a week ago on Instagram, the teachers brought forth, it was an amazing message, and I think Michael actually commented on it. It was, life has a way of giving you things to do, things to think about, things to want or explore. When we say life has, we mean your inner voyeur that collects ideas on your behalf. You are psychic beings. Your psychic ability is the voyeur. It collects and collects and collects everything vibrational. Thoughts and emotions are what we mean here. What you focus upon, you get more of. We love you. And I love that. I mean, to think about this inner voyeur. and that, it was, to me, it just painted that whole picture. And so when you were tuning in to what Michael was saying about the sunset. I mean, it's almost like my inner voyeur is taking a peek at what's going on in his world. Could the teachers elaborate a little bit more about the inner voyeur and what it collects?
We love to. And we love to tie this back to what you asked of us and bringing in the topic of the awakening. Because the inner voyeur is not the awakening. The inner voyeur, and it is real, it's literal. We're not using an analogy here. There is a component of your subconscious mind, and the subconscious is your non-physical mind. It's the energy body around you. The energy body is a non-physical structure. You can't see it, feel it, hear it, sense it, taste it, touch it, nothing. And it is non-physical, but it is part of your human physical life. And that non-physical body is the voyeur of the whole world. And it can voyeur while your eyes are looking at the television, and it often does. It voyeurs. It's always aligned to you. You don't leave your body. Literally, you don't have out-of-body literal experiences. You have the ability to focus on anything in the world and then come back. That's why we often use the analogy of Stretch Armstrong. Your arm is always attached, but it can go all the way across the world and back again. But it's yours, and it goes out, and it voyeurs, it brings back. Now, that's psychic ability. And so you can, when Michael is describing this beautiful striations in the sky of color and light and the glory of it all, you can remember your own vision of something similar. That's when you know that you're tuning into, not psychically tuning into his memory, but tuning into joy. And he gave you the prompt and began to describe the prompt. And then the inner mind of you brings up your own memory of glorious sunrises. Now, the awakening is when the inner mind, so you've got the voyeur that goes out in the world and brings ideas and thoughts back to you, positive and negative. But you've got another part of the subconscious mind that sits at the base of the non-physical cord that tethers you to your non-physical guide. And that cord includes two things: frequencies of healing and conversation. And so the awakening is alignment to that cord, and then progressing to translating conversation that's coming through, not the healing tones, just the conversation, and then progresses further to producing it in the mind's eye. That's what you call clairvoyant. And then progressing further to presenting that information as out loud spoken word, not in the mind first. That's channeled, and that's the only definition of channeled. And so, the more joy you have and the more silent meditation you have, the more your awakening can be a part of this life experience. And so mediums are trained. Everyone is a non-physical vibrational being having a physical life experience. Everyone. And everyone has the ability to learn mediumship. Now, mediumship is not giving readings, and we're gonna throw a curveball. Mediumship, a medium, is not synonymous with giving a reading, although that's how most of you would define it. A medium, by our definition, is someone that has accurate verbal conversation with your non-physical teacher, and then anybody else that you're interested in. You are a medium. You are a medium when you have perfected the awakening, when the awakening has blossomed all the way. When the awakening has begun, you are not yet a medium. Now, you might be a medium, meaning you can and do have accurate conversations, two-way dialogue with that non-physical teacher or any of your loved ones on the other side. But you're not a medium giving readings. And that's why we say we want everybody to harness the power of conversation with your non-physical team. But we know not everyone is interested in giving readings. And so we say mediums are those human beings who have awakened into their ability to accurately have conversation with those on the other side, primarily your non-physical guide. We love all people, and we love explaining the awakening, and we love describing manifesting as using that voyeur ability. Voyeur ability is ESP, extrasensory perception. Now, ESP is your psychic nature. It is law of attraction. Those are all the same thing. And so someone that's giving a reading as a psychic, they are using law of attraction. What they have taught their mind to get, they will go get from the energy field of another person. But that's not on the other side. So where does the information originate? That's the big question. A medium, conversation originates in the non-physical dimension. Psychic, conversation or objects or things originate in the physical world. And that's good to know. But a medium is someone who has acquired accurate ability to have conversation with those in the non-physical dimension. Whether or not they give readings. They might not give readings. We just want to guide people, and we hope that comes across loud and clear. We want to guide people 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 10 by 10, 1,000 by 1,000. We want to guide people into having lives that feel good, So good, in fact, that you don't have to try to conjure joy. You just have it. You've harnessed it, and you live it, and you be it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful the teachers brought up the law of attraction, because you have a workshop coming up on December 28th that is Manifesting with Ease, Manifest with Ease, which I would love to hear what the teachers have to say, because it's so different from what people have thought in regards to the flow of energy and with vision boards and limiting yourself, I think, just from what I've gathered. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about it from the teachers, about how all things are possible and how you can manifest with ease.
Manifest with Ease is a 2-hour live stream online workshop. And it's going to be Q&A based, but there's going to be a teaching component at the beginning and also at the end. And then we'll take questions in between. But it's going to be how manifest. But how it works and why not for some people, why it works for some and why it doesn't work for others. We're going to talk about vision boards. We're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about verbal conveyance. We're going to talk about tracing objects. It's a big difference from the way the world teaches it, but we guarantee you, anybody that uses the methods that we teach. Now this is a 2-hour workshop, and we are taking a lot of Q&A, so it's not an in-depth study. However, it is 2 hours of glorious conversation where we're going to guide you, and we will not be able to take questions from every single person, but we will answer questions in such a way that everybody will get something out of it and then apply it to whatever they're trying to manifest. So know that to be sure. You know, these workshops anywhere from 15 to 150 people, so sometimes we get a lot of questions in and sometimes we don't. And so we'd like to remind people, we always answer questions broadly. We identify what the questions will be, and we select them. Carol does not. But that workshop is going to be a powerful thing. We're going to talk about energy and how you really harness the powerfulness of sourced energy to help you create the life that you're wanting. Now, we've also got some other things going on in 2024. So we've got a couple of workshop topics. The way to self-healing. It's a 1-day workshop unless we're on a cruise, and then it's a 2-day workshop. It's the same content, but we split it into 2 days instead of a full day. And then we have Powerfulness of Source Energy, and that's a 2-day workshop, and we talk a little bit about each of the 4 pillars of the essential material. And we take a lot of questions. Now, the way to self-healing, we always have a learning segment, and then we have a hands-on segment. And we take you to places that are healing places. And so we're going to take you to Washington, D.C., and we're going to take you to where we are now, Hot Springs, Virginia, and we're going to take you to Antarctica. That's coming up in February. We're going to take you to the Caribbean. Now, the Caribbean itself is sparsely populated, but that's not why. It's being on the cruise ship. And it's not the cruise ship, but it's being out at sea. There is thought that is so thin in the air when you're over the ocean, so thin that it's almost not perceived by the subconscious mind. And so, for example, a 1-hour attunement when we're out on the ocean is worth 3 1-hour attunements when we're at land. And so you get a lot more all at one time. Now, Antarctica is a 14-night cruise, and that's an all-inclusive package. It's not the cruise itself nor your transportation, but it includes 8 attunements. So you do the math, 8 times 3, that's worth 24 1-hour attunements. And then you also get 8 hours of group conversation about the essential material. So the Powerfulness of Source Energy workshop is going to be talked about during the 14 days. So each person, so it's $1,500, but it's about a third of the cost if you were to do it individually. And so 8 1-hour private attunements, worth 24 if we were on land, and then 8 hours of learning segment, which is going to include a lot of Q&A. And we're going to do a couple of things on the ship as well. So we're going to do that cruise every February. And it is coming up rather quickly, but there is plenty of room on the ship, and there's plenty of opportunity, and so you can go on the website and book that. There's a 5-day cruise in April. We're doing The Way to Self-Healing. That workshop is always dynamic, and it's always specific to the individuals that are there. And we do hands-on placement for directing energy within. Oh, what else do we have? We've got July. It's another Caribbean cruise. We're doing The Way to Self-Healing. We've got The Way to Self-Healing here in Hot Springs, Virginia. And then we've got the Powerfulness of Source Energy 2-day workshop in Alexandria in October. And so all that's on the website. And that's a lot of information to just put out there. But we're also putting it out there in your recording. And we're going to pull this information out. We're going to draw people to your podcast, and we're going to draw people to us and help and heal and awaken.
Oh, it's so wonderful, especially to be able to kick off the new year with, manifest with ease and then just cruise into the rest of it. It just is phenomenal. What an amazing gift.
Special topics. We like special topics. Carol has not gotten around to it. We've been talking to her about that for about a year and a half. Special topics. Now, these are going to be, there's already a couple on the website, but not a lot. They will be of 2 varieties, small and bigger. They're going to be 90 minutes and 3 hours. Maximum of 90 minutes, maximum of 3 hours. So you're going to have 2 sizes. And all of those that are up to 90 minutes, they're going to have one small price of $45. And those that go longer, up to 3 hours, they're going to have a different price at $75. It's all pre-recorded. And the Manifest with Ease, if you cannot attend live, then you can purchase the download and still get the same content come January when it's posted on the website. So you can still purchase it after the fact. That one is going to be powerful, and we hope to do that one every year. So special topics, we will be creating self-paced 90-minute and 2.5 to 3 hour courses that will be posted on the website, categorized into general, and then pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, and pillar 4. And we're going to keep it going. We want people to heal from the inside out.
That's wonderful. And all of that can be found at americas-medium.com. Now, Michael, I know you had some questions on the tip of your tongue about manifesting and abundance and all of the things to do with law of attraction.
Well, a lot of, interestingly enough, a lot was covered in this conversation without me even asking. Probably because the teachers.
The guides, yeah.
And the reason that your 1228 Manifesting with Ease 2-hour session is going to be so mind-blowing is because it will give people a firm foundation for not doing the stuff that everybody else is doing or things that they've been doing over and over again and it hasn't worked, but give them a new plan, a new way of moving forward, which I like. So really you kind of answered my question already because the nuances of law of attraction are completely different. The information about law of attraction and how to use it, the nuance of energy and emotion and thought, just my description of the sunrise, and that I'll be using that with just about everything when I describe when I'm walking and I'm thinking about myself, thinking about the things that I want in my life that I want to manifest. That's the kind of emotion that I will be continuing to put into it. So the idea of what we were talking about prior was transitioning from now to then, from end of the year in December and thinking about all the negative things, all the things we don't have, instead of the things that we actually have going into next year, and positioning ourselves to be better human beings, to be awesome spirits, to clean our subconscious grid, and to be able to really make a huge impact on ourselves and our lives for real, not just in a fake way, which is kind of what I'm sensing that in the past, it's because of the plethora of information that's out there, people are doing things that just aren't working. So I love the idea that you're putting together this particular workshop.
I just want to mention because, and I hope, Michael, I hope you don't mind me sharing
Please,
this. And I guess the guides are having me bring this forth, but the value of having a reading. Now, you had a reading with Carol.
Had 3 readings with Carol, and they're awesome.
Well, yes, you've had multiple, but they're in one in particular that you listen to every day, and you find value in it, and it has really helped. I'll let you tell the audience about how it has transformed.
I wasn't really thinking about that. However, I got together with Carol back in May, and she said, you know what? I will make a personal recording for you, and either a half hour or an hour. That personal recording will be of your guide. You give me a list of what you want in your life, what you want to occur, and believe me, what I got back was so different than what I thought I was going to get, because up to that point in my life, I didn't, experiential wisdom didn't give me any capacity to think that far outside the box. However, I do now know. It is a beautiful thing, and I encourage everyone to connect with Carol on americas.medium.com to get one of these personalized recordings from your guide. And it is such a beautiful, loving, wondrous, energetic, and source-packed. The whole recording is from source, and that's what makes it so special. And I listen to it every single day. It's my guide talking to me directly about what I want to manifest in my life. And it seems to have, I haven't talked to you, Carol, about this, but the teachers, but it seems to have a past, present, and future component to it. And that's the sense I got. That's what I get from it. And it is amazing. And I didn't know that this was available. Carol told me. I did it. It's the same fee as paying for a reading. However, you get this recording from Carol that you get to listen to every single day of your life, as I do when you're doing so.
Yeah,
and it's
not
fabulous.
that, but you certainly can listen to it every hour that you're awake. So
absolutely.
It is available although it's not on my website, and I really should put it on there and just tell people how to connect with me. So it's something that you do need to email me and let me know that you want to purchase a 30-minute or a 60-minute or longer, whatever you want, and then provide your wish list of, I'm trying to manifest this, and this, and maybe it's an object, maybe it's recovery, maybe it's a thought pattern, maybe it's a person, maybe it's a lifestyle change, maybe it's a move, maybe it's a job, maybe it's, far in the future, you want to manifest, you're 25 years old and you want to manifest that you've had a life of luxury. It doesn't matter. It's what is your wish. And then I sit with a recorder, and then it's purely channeled. I always have the list in front of me, and they use my hand and they point to the one that's coming up. So they'll point to one and they'll talk about it, and they'll provide energetic, vibrationally accurate words and content that will help you manifest it. And then they, by way of my eyes or my hands, they tell me which one is coming up next, and then they talk about every single thing that's on your list. They don't leave anything out. So if you have a long list and a 30-minute reading, they're going to talk a little bit about everything. And if you have a short list and a long reading, they're going to go in depth. And it's channeled. So when I say it's vibrationally accurate and content-wise accurate for you, what it means is they provide the right frequency in the air and the right content at a certain pace to cause your subconscious mind to relax on those things. Now, that happens in channeled conversations always. And so the very, very best thing is to find some recording app or download it, and then put it on a device that you don't use for your phone calls, maybe a iPad or an old phone that you don't use anymore, and then just put it on loop and play it in the background, kind of like air conditioning, because that healing frequency comes through and pushes out into the room, but it also brings thought, and thought accumulates in your room. And so accumulate it in your bedroom, because that's where you sleep. And then your mind is absorbing.
Great.
Yes. It's a wonderful thing to get for yourself and for others. And I also do gift certificates for everything. But when you listen to it, the unconscious part of you relaxes on those topics. And if you listen to it once a day, wonderful. You will start seeing evidence of the things that you're wanting. But if you just play it on loop in the background, and every once in a while really pay attention to what you're tuning into, because maybe you're tuning into that new job every day for a week, and then the next week you're not really hearing that. But when you're tuning into it, if you got it playing in the background like air conditioning, and every once in a while you just pick up on, your attention goes to it. And your attention is going to go to one subject for a little while and then another subject, because the unconscious part of you relaxes and allows that content to be shown to you. And so it's kind of evidence of what the unconscious part of you is paying attention to. And it's good. It's a good thing to do.
Beautiful. Wow. Where does the time go? Where does the time go?
It seems to just disappear. And that's what I was going to say. Sometimes because we're in the gift-giving season, you don't know what to get somebody. Go to Americas-medium.com, and there's more and than you'll ever even imagine. So whether it be a book or a workshop or a class or a gift of membership, and even to give something to yourself. I mean, I you don't have to worry. You said, I never seem to get what I want. Well, buy yourself a gift, and I do that all the time. And it's about love and this connection to love. And the teachers remind us all the time that you are loved and that they are loved, and we are all connected to love. And I'm just so grateful, Carol and Michael, that you can make the time to be here and to share with our audience here on PRN FM. It is such a gift, and knowing that we have these guides and these teachers that are here for us and looking into the new year. I wish you all a beautiful day and filled with joy and happiness and abundance. And I don't know if either one of you want to say anything last to close out the show. I'm grateful to you.
Connect to love. That is probably the best title I've ever heard, because what is your non-physical teacher? What are your loved ones after they've passed? They are pure love. They're pure love. So connecting to love, make it a capital L and make it synonymous with your non-physical teacher that we call a guide. Connect with your guide. Connect with your loved ones in a beautiful way, either through a reading or through, one way or another, or learn to be a medium. And then really, really, really connect and have conversation. Connect to love, meaning connect to those beings that are watching over us and guiding us every single day. They are love beings. They're love. They're love. 100%.
Well, thank you. So beautiful. Until next time, I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you so much. And thank you to the teachers.
Thank you.
All right.